keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the top 10 news stories of the week, getting you ready for the game against Arizona with everything that happened during the week. And of course, I'm going to throw in a little bit of a extra one here, a 10B, because DeAndre Hopkins is not going to be playing against the San Francisco 49ers. D-Hop is out, so he makes it in at 10B. But let's get it started with the number 10 story of the week, and that is that Akeem Spence, the 49ers defensive lineman, who's been very active along the 49ers defensive front over the last several weeks due to injury. Well, Akeem Spence, the 49ers decided to go ahead and release him, potentially making room for the 49ers to activate a player like Elijah Mitchell. They released Akeem Spence, and then they went ahead and subsequently released someone off their practice squad as well with Eason, the quarterback. So Eason's going to be gone. And then Akeem Spence signed with the 49ers practice squad later in the week. So the 49ers do have Akeem Spence back on the practice squad, and he could be available if they need him or in case of injury. Staying along the defensive line with the number 9 story of the week, and that's that Kalia Davis is not expected to be activated. So Kalia Davis will not be making an impact on this team. And this is exactly what Kyle Shanahan said about it. We just wanted to get his practice window back, and he's definitely looked good enough to go where if there were some injuries, it was definitely an option for us, but it's been good to see him in these few weeks. He's gotten better each week. So he's played the role of J.J. Watt during practice this week. He's helped out with practice, being one of those practice squad kind of guys and on the scout team. So I think that has been really nice for the 49ers, and they got a good idea of where Kalia Davis is, so that way he can roll into next year, which figures to be a predominant role for him with him along the defensive line for the 49ers. Coming in at number 8 in the top 10 stories this week, Jimmy Garoppolo, according to Kyle Shanahan, can now put a little bit of weight on his foot. And Kyle Shanahan said Jimmy G is on pace for potentially a late playoff run. So around the NFC Championship game, we could see Jimmy Garoppolo become a backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers or be available in case something happens to Brock Purdy. Good news for the 49ers, good news for Jimmy G that the foot continues to heal. So Jimmy G could be on his way back in a few weeks. Big news for the 49ers. And it wasn't all, because the number 7 story is that Trey Lance had surgery, and successful surgery, on his ankle. The plate that they had put in there was causing a little bit of friction between his plate and the tendon that is right there. So they went ahead and went in, removed the plate, which means Trey Lance is going to be on crutches for a little bit, but potentially could be back for OTAs because they said the foot healed very nicely. That's good news for the 49ers. Trey Lance figures to be a part of the quarterback conversation during the offseason. Him and Brock Purdy could be in a quarterback battle. So that was the number 7 story of the week. The number 6 story of the week was that the 49ers got the number 2 seed within their sights. They were able to catch the Minnesota Vikings. That means with the win against Arizona, they secure the number 2 seed, which has great implications. It means they are at home through the wild card and divisional round at worst. If the Eagles, or even if the 49ers got the number 1 seed, it gives them that potential. So the 49ers are definitely doing a good job of getting themselves in the right place, and that's what it took. Minnesota flirted with it for 2 weeks, and then finally they lost a football game, and the 49ers didn't miss. They pounced on an opportunity by beating the Raiders and are now in the number 2 seed. Let's see how it plays out this weekend with the number 6 story of the week. Number 5 is that Kevin Givens is going to be back at practice. So Kevin Givens has been practicing for the 49ers, and that's good news. He's been working out. He's not going to play against the Arizona Cardinals, but it means he's on pace to come back this week. And this next week in the wild card round. That's good news for the 49ers and good news for Kevin Givens in the defensive line rotation. Another reason why you don't activate Kalia Davis. Now, the 49ers have a couple of guys that potentially could be out that are questionable, and Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, who are dealing with illness. But because they're expected to play, they did not make the top 10 stories of the week. The number 4 story is Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks is out versus Arizona, but good news, as Kyle Shanahan talked to Greg Papa on NBC Bay Area, and he said that Banks has a really good shot of coming back for the wild card round. So that was promising news about the young left guard. Daniel Brunskill will start in his place at left guard, but hopefully Banks will be back for the wild card round. The number 3 story, Dre Greenlaw's back, is a strain, and he will not be playing against Arizona, but same thing. Kyle Shanahan very optimistic about his availability for the wild card round, and he could go in that round if needed. So Azeez Al-Shire will be starting with Oren Burks. Oren Burks will come in Aziz's role. Azeez will slide over to Dre Greenlaw's role for the game against Arizona, and then we'll see how the week plays out and if Dre Greenlaw will be available in the wild card round. Of course, if 49ers were able to get the number 1 seed, he would have an extra week. In fact, him and Banks would have an extra week to come back. That's the number 3 story. The number 2 story of the week is that not only is Elijah Mitchell's practice window open, but he is going to play, and Kyle Shanahan expects him to get carries in the game against Arizona. So Elijah Mitchell is back in San Francisco after a second stint on IR with an MCL sprain. So he figures to play a big role in the 49ers playoffs with him and Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason. It seems like an explosive running back room. Mitchell could make a huge impact for the 49ers in the playoffs. We already saw what he could do last year. Now he's playing alongside Christian McCaffrey. Pick your poison. You might have to deal with McCaffrey for a while, and then here comes Elijah Mitchell with fresh legs. Going to be fun to watch. And the number 1 story of the week is that Deebo Samuel is not only healthy, but he's going to play against the Arizona Cardinals. 49ers figured to get him involved, get him reacclimated to this offense and used to playing again, setting up a huge playoff return for Deebo Samuel. So Deebo is back. Elijah Mitchell is back. Great news for the San Francisco 49ers. Anytime you can get Deebo back in there and get him healthy, that's a good sign. It means he's 100% after his comments this week that he wouldn't play unless he was 100%. Not even listed on the injury report. Good news for the San Francisco 49ers. Thank you guys for watching the top 10 news stories of the week, keeping you updated on what's going on before the game against the Cardinals. Hope you guys all have a good weekend. Enjoy the game. And after the game, come hop right here on 49ers Cutback and get involved in our game reaction show. You leave questions, I get to all those questions. We make sure we fully interact and have a good time talking San Francisco 49ers. So thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. Catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe, and remember, the right way is always the 49ers.